Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Authentic Expressions. My name is Mika Klim. Welcome to our YouTube Live tonight on Speak Your Heart, Why Sharing Feelings Strengthen Bonds. So, I am grateful this evening that Laurel Ridge is sponsoring this program, and I'm going to share with you the services offered by Laurel Ridge. So, Laurel Ridge is a behavioral health program that offers compassionate care for every stage of life. It provides treatment for all populations. Their interest is to help you into your journey to wellness. There are services for children, adolescents, adults, military dependents, active duty service members, veterans, first responders. They offer inpatient services, outpatient services, substance abuse, and residential treatment. Be sure to call 210-491-3591 for no cost assessment. All right, Laurel Ridge is open 24 hours, 7 days a week. So, welcome again. I see some familiar names and faces. So, today's topic is Speak Your Heart, Why Sharing Feelings Strengthens Bonds. So, let's see who has logged in. So, we have Zach. Welcome, Brittany Jones. Great. Rachel Santos, Leah, Monica. Very nice. Bridget, EK, Serene, Queen, and someone with a GM. Linda, welcome. Oh, Garland. All right, welcome. I love the familiar names and faces. So let's hear your questions. So the topic again is Speak Your Heart, Why Sharing Feelings Strengthen Bonds. So help me with some questions, and I would love to see what we can bring to the table and talking about how we can strengthen feelings and strengthen connection. Okay, while waiting for your questions, I'm going to share with you this quote with you by Steve Maraboli. He says, "Don't keep your feelings sheltered, express them. Don't ever let life shut you up." So by Steve Maraboli. Okay, I see Brittany. She has a question. Is there ever a wrong time to speak your heart? If so, how do you know when to wait? Okay, great question. Many times you want to think about setting the stage for it. You want to set the stage where you have adequate time to express yourself. Many times people express it in the heat of the moment, in the hurry of the situation, and in the reactiveness of the situation. It is best to speak your heart when you can set aside time and let people know, prep them and say, when we are able to tonight, I would love to have half an hour with you. So you set the stage and the tone, then it prepares for people. And then go, when you are at the moment when you have set the stage, make sure that you both are sitting down where there is eye contact, because when you sit down, look at people in the eye, then they know that you are serious. When you're having a conversation in passing, people go, oh, this is not too important. So you want people to know that what you have to say to deliver is very important. And then always ask for a recap. These are the things that I think are important. Here, I'd like to hear your thoughts. And also, I would like for you to let me know, what are some things that you hear me say? What are some questions you may have? So you want to create an environment where you can express yourself. Never do it in passing, in the hallway, in the heat of the moment, because that is setting yourself up to fail and setting yourself up to be unheard. All right. So Queen says, okay, let me go back. Queen says, can they put the information in the chat area? Okay. Put the information in the chat area. What information, may I ask? Put the information. All right. So Victoria, nice. Lutz, nice. Good to see you. How do you connect with someone who doesn't know how to express their feelings? Very good. So men are often groomed to not express their feelings because early in life they've been told to cut it off, suppress it, push it aside. So it's very new for men to express feelings openly because they are viewed as a cat as person who is too emotional. So you want to be able to listen to what is not said. So like sometimes people have phrases like, I can't believe this person does that. In that statement, there is a feeling. So there is a disbelief. There is like, um, I'm surprised. I'm discouraged that this person even think at. So, I would not focus on putting them down. I would focus on, so sounds like that was a very big surprise for you that it caught you by surprise. It was like an aha moment. So how does that sit with you rather than how does it feel? Because sometimes men are very allergic to how does it feel. So think about how does it sit with you? How does it affect you? How does it impact you? Then you allow them to talk more about their feelings and not just, use the feeling word because many times people are threatened by that. That means when you're talking about feelings, it's like you open up your heart. So when we talk about impact, they may have it may sit with them differently. So learn to read between the lines, learn to read, to acknowledge what is not said, because 80% of our communication is not expressed. So you have to read the undertones, what is expressed. Okay, how do you show your children this is a helpful way to work through issues and strengthen feelings and family values? Awesome. So, whatever you do, if you want to teach your children a certain value, a certain trait, a certain behavior that is important to you, it is also important for you to think about expressing those yourself. Whatever you exhibit, your children will also emulate. They will mirror your behavior and your values. So, if you want your children to be more expressive, learn to share about your own struggles. Learn to talk about some of the things that you learn at work or even about yourself. And let's say if you're even in therapy, it's very important to share with your children not the whole not the whole thing, but the gist of it. Like, in my session, I've also talked about, these things. So I'm working on it. So you give them the key highlights because many times people think, oh, therapy is such a big thing, you don't disclose it. But for you to want your children to work through things, to acknowledge their feelings, to be attuned to it, you have to think about sharing it yourself. Because whenever you share, you help connect with your children. Because children appreciate it when parents are open, transparent, and vulnerable. So don't think of it as, children share, I listen, or I bark out orders. It's important for you to be vulnerable. Children love it when we talk about our struggles because they see us as humans as well. Many times they idolize their parents and they don't see the struggles that parents encounter. So it's important for you to think about setting the tone, setting the pace to share your feelings, your struggles, your work relationship that are kind of waffling or things that you have self-doubt about because they appreciate it. Your transparency helps cement bonds between you and your child, you and your adolescent. An adolescent can see through it when you are not transparent with them because they have the third eye, the eagle eye, where they can see everything. They can see through everything. So your transparency only fosters deeper bonds with them. Okay, Brittany has a question. How do you speak your heart when you weren't raised in an emotionally expressive environment or when it was modeled as a weakness? That is an awesome, awesome question. Yes, it's many times we stray away from speaking our heart because that came across as a criticism. So when we open up, then that was criticized, that was judged and seen as a weakness. So we need to disconnect from those associations and think of speaking your heart as healthy, functional, and connecting. So to shift our brains to think about it as a very healthy process, then we have less investment in criticizing ourselves. Many times when we were criticized at an early age, even though your parents or your caregiver no longer criticize you, we have taken on that role and perpetrate criticism on ourselves. So it's important for you to disconnect and include new meanings to sharing your feelings as healthy, as connecting, as improving relationships. Because whenever you hear the other person or when you are heard, it puts your guard down and then you feel relieved and then you feel validated. And that validation brings connection. When people are attuned, that brings connection because we go away from the conversation feeling heard, feeling important, feeling recognized. So those are the things that helps us feel seen. So whenever you express yourself and you are heard, you feel seen and validated. Okay, Garland Moore, how would you encourage someone to speak with their heart when they have been trained to protect others' feelings their whole life? Very good question, too. Yes, yes. Again, it is a disassociation and disconnection from those early trainings rather than see it as a weakness, as see it as, I need to protect people. In relationships, your job is to free people. Don't think of, oh, I want to protect them, I don't want to hurt them. Your gift in all relationships is to free people, to liberate people, to enjoy people, to help them have the gift of truth. Because the more you have truths in conversations, the stronger the relationship is. I know many times people go, okay, I don't want to hurt their feelings. Instead of saying, I don't want to hurt their feelings, I want to bring depth to the relationship. So don't think of it as always negative. People appreciate gifts of truth. So learn to bring in a new mindset. Don't always criticize, protect that. I don't want this person to feel hurt. You want to help them see things that is kind of like from their narrow perspective to a wider perspective so they don't have blinders on. So it's very important for you to think about helping people enjoy themselves, the range of feelings, the range of thoughts, rather than protect them. When you protect them, you only victimize people. Because when you respect them, you know that they have the capacity, they have the resiliency, the tenacity to face truths, to face challenges. When you protect people, you are only seeing them as less than. All right. Um, my husband has a hard time expressing his feelings to me. Yes, many times, like I said, men find it hard to express feelings due to their socialization. They've been groomed to cut it off, to put it aside, throw it away, to discard it. So for you to open up that feeling box, it's also important for you to share about your struggles. Don't expect people to share while you seal up your lips. So when you share, then that's connection. Then they see that you are struggling. Many times spouses want to help their wife work through things. So whenever you share your feelings, it might help them open up. And then it might help them talk about times when they too were struggling with being looked down upon, being frowned upon, being unaccepted. Because we tend to let our guard down, we tend to foster connection when others are vulnerable. So expressing yourself is a very vulnerable position to be in because you don't know how it will be received. But you have to think about it as the gift is for you to express yourself and also for the other person. It's not to protect people or to keep them from feeling a certain way. If they feel a certain way, it's because they already are experiencing that. So learn to give other people the respect and let them deal with things that needs to be put on the table. All right, Bridget says, how is speaking your heart different from just talking or venting? Okay, good question. So how is speaking your heart different from talking? I think talking, venting is, are there feelings involved? Are you just talking because it's juicy? So speaking from your heart is often connected to your own issues. So I'm trying to decipher that. Is talking or venting about your personal issues or about a situation that somebody has done something to you? And if you're venting about what was done to you, upon you, and then you share your feelings, some of the feelings you struggle with, like you felt disappointed, you felt discouraged, you felt defeated, you felt unrecognized, then that's speaking from your heart. And even as a counselor, when somebody speaks from the heart, you want to think about, okay, how can I deepen that? How can I bring out other feelings? How can I bring out other situations that they may have felt invalidated or where they felt discounted? All right, reworded. I like that idea. Okay. So EK goes, how do you share your authentic self with your parents when they're older and are set in their ways? Yes, very good question. Yes, parents don't have that muscle, the emotional muscle, because they have kind of tucked it aside and because they're older and because that's not the language they use. So again, think of, you're sharing about yourself because we're all human. Humans are very emotional people. Many times they have forgotten that language. It doesn't mean that they don't feel it. So you may share what you experience and you may, share from the depths of your soul and share your feelings. And while they may not be able to articulate the word, they probably can connect to that experience of how you felt. And when they're not able to give you exactly the same words, don't be discouraged because it's a new process for them. So don't go away feeling like, oh, they didn't hear me. It takes training to hear feelings. It takes training for parents to settle down and listen and not change the topic or say, brush you aside. And sometimes you want to preface what you want to share by saying, I just want to let out this idea. I would like for you to hear me. So when you preface that, then people will be more ears. And then if they want to interject, you say, okay, let me finish first. I want to share these thoughts. I want to finish this thought. And it's important to do that with your spouse, with, your children. Let me finish this thought so that you get to express yourself. And just because you're sharing about feelings, it doesn't mean the recipient is aware of the feelings because you've had more experience, you have covered more grounds, you are more attuned to it. So give people some grace to understand the vocabulary, to understand the deeper feelings that keep burping up. All right, Leah has a wonderful question. How do you have an open, honest conversation when the person does not want to? Okay, very good question. So you don't want to make it one sided. So the person doesn't want to because they are afraid. They may burp out other feelings. Are they afraid that things might get out of control? So I want to understand why they are so protective that they don't want to go near the subject or the hot topic. So I would, instead of just opening up and tearing it apart, I would look at the wounds. Is like, okay, they don't want to open up because it's very new for them. It's very frightening for them. It may be very intimidating because they don't have the vocabulary and they don't know how to close the box back. So I would understand those thoughts surrounding being so protected, because they may have wounds that may have not been healed from the past. So I want to understand those wounds rather than just dive deep into the conversation. So whenever you understand that that is very connecting, then they may be more willing. And then whenever you share, don't just pour your whole heart out. So you want to share a little bit, a piece at a time. So like drinking water from a small little glass, not just a big tall jug. Because when people are listening to it, it can be overwhelming, it can be frightening. So learn to share small bites. And whenever you get heard, when you're heard, you're listened, when people validate you, always thank them. I'm so grateful that you understand me. I'm very glad that we had this moment, because that it encourages more of the same, more listening. So I like that you listen to me. I like that you allow me to share without interruption. I like that you understood how I feel, because they too need validation. All right, Nate has a awesome question. How can a parent model healthy physical fitness and self-discipline without unintentionally teaching a child? Okay, very good. Model physical fitness and self-discipline. So I'm going to do with the physical fitness piece. So don't just do physical fitness by yourself. Think of situations where you can do it as a family or with one particular child, because you want to create times when you and your child can have private time. You and your spouse can have that personal time. So share your desire with your family that, physical fitness is your goal this year. When are some good times for us to go for a walk? When are some good times for us to go together to the gym? One time a week, 2 times a week. Don't make it so frequent that they feel that they cannot do that schedule. So you would want to have that as a conversation at the dinner table. So bring it up and say that, it's very important to me. I want our family to connect. So focus on what you want rather than say, oh, we all don't work out. You are so set in your ways. So don't start a request with a complaint. Start a request with what you want, why it's important to you. And usually people will support you when you give your reasons, and do follow up. And if they go, oh, we have to do this again, when they moan a little bit, don't get discouraged. Stay focused. So bring it up the next time. Have a little more serious. Okay, what can we narrow down? What's a good time we can start? So you want to rein people in and have them support the values that you want to teach and preach. Okay, how can a parent model? The second part is self discipline, okay, without unintentionally teaching. Again, same thing. Whenever you do a certain behavior, a certain practice, children, while they may not immediately do it, they watch you do it, so they are learning from you. If you're honest, transparent, they too will be able to be honest and transparent with their 10-year-old friends. If they see you skirt around, dance around, worm around, honest conversations, they too will do the same thing because they mirror a lot of your image. So, whatever it is, model it rather than complain about them not speaking up. But if you want to be transparent and you see them being transparent with their 10-year-old friend, say, hey, I really like that you were able to speak truthfully with your friend Linda. You did a good job. I know it was hard, but you did an awesome job. So remember to pat them on the back when you see them doing behaviors that you really, really like. All right, part two, Nathan's question: anxiety or shame around body image, especially when your child starts asking questions like, am I fat, at a very young age? Yes, this is a pervasive questions that children ask, teenagers ask. So there's a lot of dialogue around that in school. So instead of answering the question, then I go, so tell me more about the root of that question. So what has been burping in your school? What's been said? Where did this fear, this anxiety come from? So I would understand the background, the context in which this question was born. So, and then as a parent, you don't always have to answer the question. So when they ask you, am I fat? Then you go, you want to understand the backdrop. And then you go, so what do you think? So don't always answer it because I think they are looking for affirmation, they're looking for support. Whenever children ask questions, understand the root of what drives them and then go back and go, what are your thoughts? What do you think? How do you see it? Then you're teaching them critical thinking, then you're also creating room for them to share their struggles. And then children talk better when there's no eye contact. It's easy when you are doing a project and you are focusing on the project, somewhat focusing. And then when they talk, when there's no eye contact, they open up more because it feels safer. All right, how can one speak truthfully in an abusive relationship? That's an awesome, awesome question, Linda. Yes, truthfully in an abusive relationship. Okay, I'm thinking about the tone, the place. Many times in such situation, being perpetrated upon, it is hard for the perpetrator to digest the fact that they have faults, that they are in the wrong. So it's important to set the tone, to write it out, what you want to say. It doesn't have to be a lot of points. Many times people digest things better when it's just 1 point or 2 points. So let them know that, when you are mean to me, when you call me names, when your comments are sharp and cutting, it really pierces me. So again, share your feelings, share your truth. It is important that you respect me, and I want to start respecting myself. Focus on what you want to do. Focus on you rather than just what they have done wrong. So, and then when you start respecting yourself, it also means that when they fall into that trap and they're calling you names, that you need to walk away so that they see you respect yourself. Okay, one last question, Serene, and our time is calling us to wrap up. Serene goes, how do you address it when you speak your heart, but you're feeling that you aren't being heard? Yes, 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 yes. Good question. Um, Again, I want you to think about how you can set the tone, set the place, set the agenda that you can speak your heart, that this is what I want to say. I didn't make it, so make it about you. I did not get my point clear, but I want to restate it. I want to say that again. So when this happens, I really felt discouraged. When I'm not heard, I feel like I'm discounted, disrespected. So what I want to share is this. So again, type it out, write it out so that you can share it in simple terms. All right, awesome questions. Thanks for the lovely engagement. I like the interaction. Okay, I'm going to share a closing quote and I'm going to read the services offered by Laurel Ridge. Your emotions are the slaves to your thoughts, and you are the slave to your emotions. So think about that. Comfort in expressing your emotions will allow you to share the best version of yourself to others. So expressing your emotions will allow you to share the best of yourself. Okay, thank you so much for these awesome questions. So next week is job related. When work comes home, handling spillover of job stress. So that's a thing we all encounter, spillover from job stress. Thank you for attending this live stream. Again, this program is sponsored by Laurel Ridge, and they offer a variety of inpatient services, outpatient services, substance abuse treatment, residential treatment. Be sure to call 210-491-3591. Awesome. Good night and see you next week. Bring your questions, bring a friend.